A few years ago, there was one question that seemed to be everywhere. Is AI going to take our jobs? It was a simple question, but behind it was a very real fear. People imagined a future where offices would be filled with machines instead of humans, where a computer could write the article, design the advertisement, answer the customer, write the code, analyze the data, and maybe even make decisions that once required years of human experience. And honestly, some of that future has already arrived. AI is no longer something that exists only in science fiction movies. It is sitting inside our phones. It is being used in offices. It is helping companies write emails, analyze documents, create images, produce videos, develop software, and automate thousands of repetitive tasks. And that has created a strange situation. For years we asked, will AI replace humans? But now another question is beginning to emerge. Can humans use AI to protect their jobs? Or even create better ones? Because maybe the future isn't simply about humans losing jobs to machines. Maybe it's about humans learning how to work with machines, and that difference could change everything. Think about a graphic designer. A few years ago, creating 10 different concepts could take hours. Today, AI can generate dozens of ideas in minutes. At first glance, that sounds terrifying for designers, but there's another side to it. The designer who knows how to use those tools can now explore more ideas, experiment faster, and spend more time doing something AI still struggles with, understanding what a human actually wants. Because creating an image is one thing. Understanding a person's emotions, culture, taste, expectations, and business goals is something else. The same thing is happening in programming. AI can generate code. It can explain errors. It can suggest solutions. It can even help developers build applications much faster. But that doesn't mean every programmer suddenly becomes useless. Someone still needs to understand the problem. Someone needs to decide what should actually be built. Someone needs to test the result. Someone needs to recognize when the AI has produced something that looks correct but is completely wrong. And that brings us to one of the most important changes happening in the job market. The competition may not be human versus AI. The competition may become human versus human, with AI on one side. Imagine two employees doing almost the same job. Employee A spends 6 hours completing a report. Employee B uses AI to organize the information, summarize hundreds of pages, create a first draft, and then spends the remaining time checking and improving it. The second employee isn't necessarily smarter. They simply know how to use a new tool, and that's something we've seen throughout history. When calculators became common, people didn't stop learning mathematics. When computers entered offices, people didn't stop working. When the internet became widespread, many old jobs changed while completely new industries appeared. Technology destroys some types of work, but it also creates new opportunities. The problem is, change doesn't happen equally for everyone. And that's where the real fear comes from. For someone who has spent 20 years doing the same repetitive task, AI can feel like a direct threat. Because if a machine can do that task faster and cheaper, the company has a reason to automate it. And we shouldn't pretend that's not happening. Some jobs will disappear. Some jobs will become smaller. Some jobs will change completely. And some people will lose work. That is the uncomfortable reality. But there's another reality that doesn't get discussed enough. AI can also give ordinary people capabilities that were previously available only to large companies. A person with a laptop can now create a website, write marketing material, design a logo, analyze data, translate content, create a presentation, produce a video, build a small software product, and in some cases, a single person can now do work that once required an entire team. That doesn't mean everyone will become successful. AI is not a magic button. It doesn't remove competition, it doesn't remove the need for skill, and it definitely doesn't remove human mistakes. But it lowers the barrier to getting started, and that's powerful. Think about a small business owner. 10 years ago, if they wanted professional advertising, they might have needed a designer. If they wanted a website, they might have needed a developer. If they wanted professional video content, they might have needed an editor. Today, AI can help them do parts of all three. Suddenly, one person has access to tools that were once expensive and difficult to obtain, and this leads to an interesting possibility. Maybe AI isn't simply taking jobs. Maybe it's changing who gets to participate in the economy. But there's a warning here too. The people who benefit from AI won't necessarily be the people who know the most about technology. They may simply be the people who are willing to learn. That's important, because you don't necessarily need to become an AI engineer. You don't need to understand how every AI model works. You need to understand how AI can help you do your particular job better. If you're a teacher, learn how AI can help you prepare lessons. If you're a designer, learn how AI can speed up your creative process. If you're a programmer, learn how AI can help with development. If you're a business owner, learn how AI can automate repetitive tasks. If you're a writer, learn how AI can help you research, organize, and improve your ideas. The goal isn't to let AI do everything. The goal is to let AI handle the parts of the job that don't require your highest level of human judgment. And that distinction matters, because there are things humans still bring to the table: trust, empathy, responsibility, creativity, leadership, relationships, understanding, judgment, and sometimes simply knowing what question to ask. An AI can give you an answer, but if you don't understand the problem, a perfect answer to the wrong question is still useless. That's why I don't think the future belongs to humans alone, and I don't think it belongs to AI alone either. The future probably belongs to collaboration, human intelligence combined with artificial intelligence. But there is one more uncomfortable question. What happens to the people who refuse to adapt? Because history is full of examples of technologies that changed entire industries. People who adapted found new opportunities. People who refused often struggled. And AI may be one of the fastest technological changes we've ever experienced. That means waiting until the change is complete may be a mistake. You don't have to become an expert tomorrow. You just have to start. Learn one tool. Automate one repetitive task. Use AI to improve one part of your work. Then learn another. Because the biggest advantage may not belong to the person who knows everything about AI. It may belong to the person who learns fastest. So, are humans taking their jobs back from AI? Maybe that's not the right question, because AI doesn't have to be the enemy. The real danger is becoming irrelevant while the world around you changes. And the solution isn't to fight technology. It's to understand it, use it, question it, control it, and most importantly, never forget what makes human work valuable in the first place. Because the future may not be a world where humans work without machines. And it may not be a world where machines work without humans. It may be a world where the most successful people are the ones who know exactly when to let the machine work and when to take control themselves. So perhaps the question we should be asking isn't, will AI take my job? The better question is, what can I do today that AI can help me do better tomorrow? Because your biggest advantage in the age of AI may not be competing against the machine. It may be learning how to work alongside it. And that could be the difference between losing your place in the future and building your place in it.